I'm Parneet Jaggi, and in this series on the detailed analysis of the story, The Modern Millionaire, we're going to be starting with the number of characters the story has. This interesting story by Oscar Wilde, The Model Millionaire, is one of the most popular stories by Wilde and was published in the newspaper The World in 1887. Then it was again published later as a part of the anthology by Oscar Wilde. Now, before we initiate the storyline or the plot of the story, let's know a little bit about the characters of the story. The protagonist of the story is a boy or a young person who's named Hughie Erskine. Now, he is actually the main character plus an interesting personality, and the story is actually a detailed portrait of his personality and of his evolution as a man and how he realizes certain things out of the experiences of his life, and he occasionally adopts a different perspective according to the events that happen in his life. Now, physically looking, he's handsome, he's young, he's attractive, charming. His looks and attitudes get him a lot of friends, even when he is not wealthy or not very intelligent or successful. But to quote Oscar Wilde, he says, but then he was wonderfully good looking, with his crisp brown hair, his clear cut profile, and his grey eyes. So he is the main character whom we pursue throughout the story, and we note the changes in his character with the events happening in the story. The next important character is Alan Trevor. Now, Trevor is a friend of Hughie, and by profession, he is a painter. And he is depicted antithetically, meaning that there are two faces to his personality. While on one side he is a master of his art. He's a wonderful painter, magnificent painter, and he's loved by the people as an artist, but he is also a strange person. And we know, generally seeing in the world, this is very typical of the artists who are generally misunderstood by society because they hold a different perspective and a different lifestyle from the other majority of people. So the writer says, personally, he was a strange, rough fellow with a freckled face and a ragged red beard. However, when he took up the brush, he was a real master, and his pictures were eagerly sought after. And that we see in the story, how people who are well known, who are affluent, also approach him for his paintings. The next important, in fact, the most significant character after the protagonist is Baron Horsburgh. Now, he is a millionaire. Like we know the title of the story, The Model Millionaire, which is modeled on his personality actually. He's an eccentric millionaire, means different, unusual, kind of a strange person whose ways, whose behavior is not just as the other millionaires would have. So as we see him posing and looking like a beggar, he is also a good actor as he manages to deceive Hughie and plays the role of the beggar. So in the story, while we go with the flow of the story, we will see that this person, Baron Horsburgh, who is actually a wealthy, affluent, and an eccentric millionaire, has unusual ways of presenting himself, is actually posing for a painting in the studio of this painter, where Hughie Erskine actually drops in by chance. So we'll look into the story in detail in the next video. Now, the next character is this girl, Laura, who is the beloved of Hughie. Hughie Erskine actually is in love with this girl, and because of that love, he has to undergo several trials, we can say, or he has to struggle a lot to earn more and more money so that he is permitted to marry this girl, Laura. She is the daughter of Colonel Merton, who wants to ensure that Hughie has enough income adequate earnings before he marries his daughter. So the complexity of the story is that although Hughie is a very handsome and a charming person, but he has no money and he does not have a stable profession. So because he is in love with this girl, he needs to earn more money, have a more stable profession, a more stable career, and then present himself before this Colonel Merton, who is the father of Laura. So Colonel Merton is the father of Laura, the woman whom Hughie loves, and he comes across as a more traditional person. Even though he likes Hughie as a person, but as a father, he does not approve of the couple getting engaged unless Hughie has a stable £10,000 fortune. So, this is the condition this father, Colonel Merton, lays before Hughie, that if Hughie wants to marry his daughter Laura, then Hughie must have a fortune or an asset of at least £10,000 because he actually does not have a stable career. So these were the main characters of the story, The Model Millionaire. We will look into the plot in the next coming videos. Stay tuned till then. Goodbye.